Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement, the great state of Kansas. And in this video, I thought I'd cover a couple or three movies that I've watched recently, movies I haven't seen before that are somewhat recent. Well, two really recent ones. One, I forget when it was made, but not too long ago. Anyways, I don't usually cover newer movies. I usually make ranks and lists of older movies I enjoy and talk about movies I love from the past. But I've been going seeing more new movies lately, and so I just thought I'd make a video. I would make several videos, probably covering some movies that I've seen recently and what I thought to give my 2 cents in. First movie I'm going to talk about is a movie that I went to saw in the theater, which I hadn't seen a movie in 2 years, about roughly about 2 years since I've gone to the movie theater. Anyways, but I finally decided I'd go to the movie theater because I really wanted to see this movie, and it's called Cyrano. If you know Cyrano, it's a musical adaptation of a famous play called Cyrano de Bergerac about a I don't know 1800 French society, a guy who uh, is historically known for having a big nose, but he's a really good swordsman. He's a real good poet, and he's in love with Roxanne, but he can't tell her that because he's afraid of rejection because of his big nose. In the musical version, of course, instead of having the big nose, we have Peter Dinklage playing Cyrano as a little person, as Peter Dinklage is. So it's very interesting. Gives it a little different look at the story. Say here's not someone with a big nose seems like you can look past that, but you can't look past somebody who's a little person. They can't, you can't change that. And anyway, so it was an interesting take on the story, I think. Directed by Joe Wright, director I'm kind of starting to like more and more lately. He did The Darkest Hour, which I really liked. It was one of my favorite movies of a couple years ago about Winston Churchill. I know he did Atonement a while back. That was nominated for Best Picture, which I wasn't a fan of. I think he's done maybe Pride and Prejudice. He does a lot of these. He loves period pieces with big costumes and stuff like that. Seems to be what his favorite kind of thing to do. And this kind of right up his alley because it's this French society where women are wearing these lavish dresses and men are wearing these, I don't know what you call them, French outfits, and there's soldier outfits and stuff like that. So it definitely fits right in with him. Haley Bennett plays Roxanne, the woman that Cyrano's in love with. And I really like this movie. I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5 stars, which to me means a solid recommend. Like, I think you definitely should check this movie out if you ever see it on streaming or even rent it. I don't think you necessarily have to go out to the movie theater and see it if you don't want to. But still a solid musical. I love musicals. That's why I wanted to go see it because I love the trailer, and I love this big musical with costumes and dance scenes and all this. So that's why it made me want to go out and see it. Plus, I really like Peter Dinklage. Of course, he's amazing in Game of Thrones. He's one of the best actors I've seen in the last 10 years. I mean, his performances are always amazing. And this is another one where he gives a really great performance. And this is a great character. I love Cyrano, the character. I love this idea of this guy that's so much confidence in everything in his life as a sword fighter, as a poet, but he's unconfident when it comes to women because he's so self-conscious of what he looks like, and that a woman couldn't look past the way he looks, even though he has everything else that a woman would like. I think this speaks to me, speaks to probably maybe a lot of people like me, who I definitely have those feelings of not feeling self-worth when it comes to around women, and when I was in high school and so forth, and it was hard asking women out and getting rejected, and it was a scary thing, trying to find love, and uh, sometimes girls that are pretty, they just look at the way you look and all that, and so I kind of related to that character a little bit, not to the extent of the character, what he has, but definitely feel for that character. Like you want him to find love. Anyways, and Haley Bennett plays Roxanne. Great performance. I thought Haley Bennett should have been nominated for an Oscar. I can't believe no one's talking about her performance as an Oscar type role. I thought she gave best performance maybe in the movie and should have been nominated. And Peter Dinklage also. There's a lot of talk of him. He is nominated for like Critics' Choice and SAG Awards and I think Golden Globe maybe. And I know he got some some award nominations, but he didn't get the Oscar nomination, which is too bad. I would love to see him get an Oscar nomination. Like I said, I think he's one of the best actors out there today. And I thought he did a real good job with this role. And of course, there's the music. The music was great. Uh, After the movie was over, I was singing the songs in my head, which is always good for a musical. And I've been listening to it on Spotify. And yeah, the music definitely wonderful, very catchy. The big criticism of Peter Dinklage is he's not a singer. You know, this is a musical and he's the lead, but it doesn't hurt the movie to me. They definitely wrote the music around his voice. He doesn't have a wide range of vocals, and he doesn't hit big notes or anything like that. He has just like a solid tenor or solid baritone voice, and he kind of keeps in the same, like I said, vocal range. But it kind of works for me. Though I mean, I can see like it'd be interesting to see someone who can really sing in that role and see what they could do with that character. But still, I liked it because you get to get Peter Dinklage in it, and that was always I think a good idea because he didn't have to put a makeup on him. He's already a little person. He already has that sympathy for his character built in kind of. And that last scene with Peter Dinklage and Haley Bennett, where he has to tell her that, where she finds out that he loves her, it's not Christian. I mean, it's such emotional. It's like the ending part of the movie. If you know the play, that's how it ends, where she finally finds out that he's the one who wrote her letters, and that whole scene is so great. I mean, very emotional. Both actors are really giving it all, and it's this great song at the end that they're singing to each other, and really ties the whole movie together. Anyway, so I was a big fan of this movie, Cyrano. I recommend if you like musicals. Then I want to talk about another musical I watched called West Side Story, not from 1961, but from 1921. The remake with Steven Spielberg taking up direction. And we have Ansel Elgort playing the main character Tony, and Rachel Zegler playing Maria, Ariane DeBose, and Mike Fast, and I don't know, but the only, and Rita Moreno has a small part. Uh, West Side Story, of course, a remake of a movie that I've really enjoyed from the original from 1961. Um, this one you can watch on Disney Plus and HBO Max. You can stream this one. That's why I finally got around to it because I finally got into streaming. A movie I was kind of interested in seeing all along because again I love musicals. So and Steven Spielberg is one of my favorite directors of all time. So it seemed like a good combination. The biggest problem with the movie is just the fact that it's a remake of a movie that's already really good and works already. Like you didn't really need a remake, a classic like West Side Story. So it's hard when you make a remake and you're going to be compared to the original, and it's hard to watch that movie, this new West Side Story, without thinking about the old one because they're very similar in the way they're made, obviously, because same songs and all that. And so I'm watching it going, I kind of like the way the original did it better. And so there's a lot of scenes in there that, and a lot of the performances that I couldn't help but go, man, I just think the original is better in this way. Um, and so across the board, I think the original had better performances. Especially even Tony. I think Ansel Elgort to me was the weakest part of the movie. I thought his performance was really not very good compared to the original. Richard Beamer, I believe his name was, that played the original Tony, and he wasn't exactly great either. But I think he was better. Also, I loved Russ Tamlin in playing the Riff character better than Mike Fast did. But Russ Tamlin, just such a great. I really, that's an actor I've always enjoyed. Anytime I see him in a musical. Anyways, and I thought he was really good. And I thought Rita Moreno, to me, was even better than Ariane DeBose, which Ariane DeBose is going to most likely win the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, as Rita Moreno won it. So it's interesting. First time probably same character gets an Oscar when two different actresses playing the same character. Interesting, like 60 years apart or whatever it is. So that's very interesting. But yeah, I think Rita Moreno gave a great performance. I think not forgetting his name, but the guy who played Bernardo, whatever, the head of the Puerto Rican gang, the Sharks. I think that original actor who won, George Chakras or something like that, won Best Supporting Actor. I think his performance is a little bit better than this one, though they're not. I'm not saying they're terrible in this one, but I just think the original is just a little bit better, or in case of Tony, much better. Anyways, and just some of the musical performances, I just like when I was watching it. I was like, the way they're shooting it, just I like the way the original did it better with like Officer Crumpkey. I thought it was done better in the original. Stay Cool, that whole song, I thought was done better in the original. There's something like that. I will say the dance numbers are fantastic in the new one as they are in the original. So definitely did a great job with choreographing the dance moves. So I enjoyed the dance sequences. And Steven Spielberg, great director. I think it was shot very well. Did a really great job shooting the movie as you would expect of Steven Spielberg. So I give it 3 out of 5 stars, which is a light recommend. And I would love to give it a stronger recommend. It's just that the original I think is better. So I have a hard time giving this too much because I just watch the original rather than watch this one, in my opinion. But of course, it's getting a lot of Oscar noms, so that's why it's worth watching. But yeah, it's hard to make like I said, a movie off such a good one already. It's hard to improve on it in that sense. Also, the love story is always problematic in this. I know it's a Romeo and Juliet kind of adaptation, but it's like the Tony and Maria characters, they meet and they have like one short conversation. All of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, I'm so in love with you. Let's run away together." And it's always hard for me because I'm like, that's not how relationships really work. You don't just meet someone, talk to them. I mean, you can have a crush on somebody instantly and have fascination with them, or they're good looking. Yeah, you're gonna be like, yeah, I like to spend more time with them. That makes sense. But to go right to like the undying love, it never really works, and it's always hard to do that in a Hollywood movie because you have to have two people fall in love in a quick fashion, and somehow it's possible to be done, and sometimes it's not. And I don't think that love relationship really worked for me in the new one. It worked better for me in the old one. I don't know how they did it better in the original, but I felt the love story. Maybe it's just better chemistry between the two characters, Natalie Wood and Richard Beamer. And I thought this chemistry in this one wasn't that great. And like I said, Ansel Elgort, I just didn't think gave a good performance. They maybe need a better actor in that lead role. Maybe would have worked. Rachel Zegler did a fine job as Maria, in my opinion. But yeah, so that whole love story just always troublesome to really buy into that relationship. Anyway, for me. So anyway, but still, I saw. Yeah, if you got Disney Plus or HBO, yeah, it's worth checking out. But it's not something I go out and see or must see kind of movie anyway. So that's West Side Story. And I'm gonna end it on a movie that I saw a little while back. Like, not a real new movie, but it's called Richard Jewell. Of course, about the real guy named Richard Jewell, um, who during the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, he found a backpack that he thought might be, a bomb or something, and he called it in, and they called it in. It turned out to be a bomb, so they were able to get some people out of the way, and he was able to save some lives, Richard Jewell, by doing his job as a security guard, and seeing this package or seeing this backpack and being a suspicious package kind of thing. And so he did a really good job, and he was kind of a hero for a couple of days. And then if FBI started targeting him as a suspect who maybe planted the bomb there, and this is of course the thing that happened in real life. And I don't remember that part of it. I remember Richard Jewell a little bit, but this movie really opens up the whole what happened to him and just the hell that they put him. I think 88 days he was under suspicion. The FBI like raided his house, took everything, bugged his phones. They were videotaping him, asking him questions, trying to get him to admit to something, and they basically made him guilty even before they had all the evidence. They just wanted somebody, and they feel like he fit the profile. So this really points out to how corrupt the FBI is, which I think is true. And I like that part of the movie. And this was way before even today when we see so many bad things happen through the FBI and just how the governments, can't trust them. Uh, uh, they're out to get you kind of thing anyways, and you always have to be careful. Anyways, so it's kind of a tragic tale of this character, or this guy, Richard Jewell, directed by Clint Eastwood, of course, famous director, really great. Paul Walter Hauser plays Richard Jewell, does a really great job, looks like him. Everything about his mannerisms really remind you of what I've seen in Richard Jewell. Sam Rockwell, another great performance. Sam Rockwell is always great as his lawyer. John Hamm plays a corrupt FBI agent after him, and Kathy Bates plays Richard Jewell's mom. I think Bobby Jewell, and she got an Oscar nomination for a supporting actress. Very good performance by Kathy Bates. But this one I give a 3.5 out of 5 stars. A solid recommend. I definitely recommend if you ever come across it. I actually saw a tape. My dad taped it off of like TNT, so I watched it at my parents' house. Um, that was taped off TV on DVR, and because it hasn't been on any streaming that I've seen, and I don't know if you can rent it anywhere, so it's a little bit harder movie to catch. So I was glad I finally got around to see it because I thought it was a really solid movie. It was interesting. It's a very funny movie. Of course, Paul Walter Hauser's a comedic character, even though it's a serious plot, serious movie about a serious subject. Uh, Paul Walter Hauser, I thought, gave a really great performance, and he's very funny in times. Sam Rockwell too, he was very funny a lot in the movie, so I love that it had a lot of humor in it, along with some of the serious subject matter, and overall just seeing what he went through, and at the end just having so much respect for Richard Jewell and what he did, and that he was a hero and saved lives, and I think it was great. It gave a lot of respect to him, who has passed away since then. Um, but to do that or that person justice was great. And I'm so happy that they made a movie about it, and just makes you think about the FBI, like I said, and how you just can't trust the government agencies like that. Uh, that they're not on your side anyways, and so it kind of opens that up, which was interesting anyway. So yeah, definitely check that out if you ever come across it. Richard Jewell. Anyway, so those are the 3 movies I'm talking about in this video. So please tell me if you feel comment if you've seen those movies, what you think. Love to hear anything you guys have to say, and just thank you for watching this video, for liking it, and thank you to all the subscribers for supporting the channel. I really appreciate you all, and have a good day.